What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Varsity Overland channel. Today I'm taking a look at the Wolfpack cargo box from Frontrunner. I'm going to do an unboxing of it. I'm going to give you my initial impressions, and I'm going to mount it up top using the Frontrunner mounts to attach it onto my Prinsu and drive around a bit to see if it actually stays mounted and secured on the top of the rack. Stay tuned. This is the box that the Wolfpack comes in. And this is the Wolfpack cargo box by Frontrunner. It's literally all you get inside the box. It comes with the lid already attached. It has these latches on the side that I'll add are slightly difficult to open, which actually makes me feel a little bit safer about using it. And then opening it up, nothing on the inside. All right, so not that I was expecting anything. It's literally the product I ordered. Everything's fine there. But sometimes the company will add, some stickers on the inside, maybe some instructions or a little blurb about the product itself. But this one's just the box. All right, so that's what you get inside the box when you order a Wolfpack. And I also ordered the mounting hardware to go along with the Wolfpack so that I'd be able to mount it to the top of my Prinsu rack. So I'm going to get that opened up right now. And voila. All right, so we got Frontrunner, some packing paper, and then there's all the order information, probably some instructions there as well, unless the instructions are in here. So this is the Wolfpack rack brackets. I'm assuming that it's made to be used with most T-track cab racks, like my Prinsu rack. Technically, this probably works best with a Frontrunner cab rack or roof rack, but based on what I've seen online, it's all kind of universal. So I've got the latches and the brackets wrapped up in some pretty heavy-duty plastic wrap here. And I got my instructions. Pretty self-explanatory though. Got a bolt that mounts on the bottom, keeps a little hook in place all the time, then the rest of it just hooks onto that and goes up over the top of the box. So, let's get started. Alright, so before I get to the actual install, a couple things I need to note. Number one, which I think is pretty cool, Frontrunner actually includes this little card inside the mounting hardware box with a signed employee saying, "I had the pleasure of packing your Frontrunner product. It's time for you to take advantage of this big, beautiful world. Go on, get out there. Here's to many safe adventures." That's pretty cool. I don't think I've seen a company do that yet, or at least I haven't opened a product box from a company that has done that yet. But here's something that I'm noting now. So we have our two little clips, hooks, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so these two pieces right here, they're going to slide into the T-track of my cab rack, which happens to be a Prinsu design roof rack. Okay, so I'm not using a Frontrunner roof rack to mount the Frontrunner box. So we've got to do some improvising, okay? And I knew this would have to happen. I assumed this would be the case, All right, so the mounting hardware, I should say the nuts and bolts for the mounting hardware look like this. All right, so normally you've got this little hex bolt, washer goes up over top. All right, and then this piece actually fits down inside like so. Okay, then the hex nut that it comes with goes on the bottom. So the hex nut for the Frontrunner roof rack, the hex nut is actually the piece that slides into the T-track, and then the bolt goes down into the rack and secures it in place like that. All right, so you might see how that works out. Okay, and you can pause it here if you want to get a little bit more information about it, but this is what it would look like for the instructions. The nut through the washer in the top of the hole, and it meets the hex nut on the bottom. The hex nut is the piece that secures it to the rack in the T-track. Okay, so I just tried it, and this hex nut does not fit inside the T-track for my Prinsu rack. So what I'm going to do instead is use the carriage bolts and the mounting hardware that came with my Prinsu, as well as some that I've acquired over time just from doing my own like DIY stuff. So I have 1/4 inch hex nuts that I know work with the 1/4 inch carriage bolts on my Prinsu rack. What I plan to do is I will use the carriage bolt from my Prinsu, put it up through inside the hole of this clip, and then on top of that I'll use the 1/4 inch hex nuts that I have, and I know they work with the Prinsu bolts, and I'll hold it down into place like that. Okay, so I'm going to get these up on the rack right now using this method. I'm probably just going to set the box on the rack, and then I'll place both of these hooks on the front and back of that box so I know how evenly they need to be spread, and then I'll ratchet them down and we'll move on from there. All right, look at that. This thing is so cool. I'm very impressed. All right, so here's what we got. There's the little hook that I bolted down into the T-track. There's the exact same second hook on the opposite side of the box. And then this is the actual latching mechanism that hooks onto place. And I'll show you how that works in a second, but it's completely secured down, and this thing is not going anywhere. What I find really cool as well is the fact that the plate, the latching plate, actually goes up and over the top of the lid as well. So, you know, you can't even unlatch the lid and then like open the lid while it's secured, thanks to that. So how does it work? All right, it's going to be the same on both sides. Obviously it's kind of a weird angle getting up and around it to the back side, so I'm just going to show you how it works on this side. This little sliding piece here, you press it down, and the bar that hooks beneath this tab will be, the pressure will be released. Just like that, easy peasy. All right, and then this whole thing actually comes right off, which I find extra cool as well. So it's not like, you know, just constantly attached. You have to find a way, you know, to unbolt it and take it off when you're not adventuring. In fact, this piece right here, the small hook that's at the bottom, is the only thing that needs to stay on the rack. And the reason why I got this kind of setup at all is because I can just leave it. I'm going to leave it in place. It'll be able to clear underneath the garage doors, and I won't have to worry about, you know, unbolting and unstrapping my cargo on top of the rack every time I want to, you know, go under something that has low clearance, such as my, you know, 7-foot whatever garage doors. So I'm going to leave this hook on the rack at all times, And then when I want to travel somewhere, I can just grab my box, throw it on top, get my mounting hardware, boom, loving it. Also, there's a small section here for a padlock or a key lock if you want to slide in your own lock. And I'll definitely be doing that, at least on one side. I'm not gonna dual it or anything like that, but I'm gonna put it on one side. So I find this amazing. So what I'll do really quick is I'll unlatch it, I'll take the box off. You can just see what it looks like without the latches. Then I'm gonna talk about the overall Wolfpack just as a product in general. Okay, so this is what it looks like with the two hooks attached to the Prinsu rack, Prinsu crossbars. Got one on the driver's side and then one a little bit closer to the center. And then these are the clamps or straps or securing mechanisms, whatever you want to call them, okay, that go into place. All right, so it's the same mechanism on both sides of the Wolfpack box. And honestly, so far I'm loving this. I'm gonna leave these up here. I can keep these inside the box, to be honest, and then when I mount it up, just take them out and have them set to mount the Wolfpack up here. But yeah, I think this is a really good method. It's a lot easier than having to like lay down my my plano case that I've been using, open the plano case, ratchet and bolt down everything on the inside like I had been doing, and then close it, because I've actually broken a couple bolts doing it that way and got a small crack in the bottom of the plano bin. So now I don't got to worry about it. I've got these strong secured hooks and straps. Put them on, take them off, gonna be really easy. So now we'll move on to the actual Wolfpack box itself. All right, so here is the Frontrunner Wolfpack cargo box. I'm going to put the dimensions on the screen, interior and exterior, just so you guys have an understanding of how big this thing really is. It's not as long as my plano bins or plano cases that I've used on top of the truck, but it is deeper. So I still plan to carry all of my recovery gear inside of one of these on top of the cab rack, the same way that I did with my plano cases. So right off the bat, it is made of plastic. It's definitely like a high quality, high durability kind of plastic, but it is, at least the top, you apply some pressure, you can see a little bit of a bend on the lid of it. And the inside has nothing as far as like insulation or waterproofing. Now, it doesn't claim to be waterproof or watertight. I would say it's probably water resistant. So there's no rubber gasket or any sort of like sealant on the inside of the lid here. It's just plastic on top of plastic. The lid does overhang a little bit, so it does allow, you know, for weather and water and stuff to kind of run off in kind of like that regard. There are small holes in the bottom, one in each quarter, to allow for drainage if anything happens to get in here. I have seen reviews of people taking this, you know, out to their yard or their driveway and then just taking their garden hose and spraying the heck out of it, then opening it up and seeing if any water got inside and damaged, like, you know, their paper or their clothing that they put in there. And for the most part, everyone's had some positivity regarding its ability to repel water. But I just want to, you know, reiterate, it's not waterproof, and it doesn't claim to be waterproof. These sections on each corner are meant for their hollow parts, so you can see down inside here, as well as, you know, reach into this hole. But these don't actually lead to the inside of the box. What they're meant for is tie-down points. So if you wanted to mount this somewhere and you don't have the specific mounting hardware like I got, you can use bungees or some other form of strap to tie it down in each corner on top of your rack, your basket, or whatever you're using. I would highly recommend getting the mounting hardware that I came up with when I ordered it, the Wolfpack rack brackets. I'm feeling really good about them. I am going to take this on the road and see how it holds up and whether or not everything actually stays mounted to the top of the rack. So that's still to be seen. But for now, I'm feeling very positive about this purchase. I've also seen people stand on these. I know that they can be stacked as well. So the way that the lid is designed, the bottom of another Wolfpack would fit into these grooves and into these little creases, so that you could stack one on top of another. So that's pretty cool too. I've seen people keep these in the back of their truck or in the back of their SUV, and just use them for storage that way. I've seen people mount them. So it's a pretty versatile product. There is a new version of the Wolfpack called the Wolfpack Pro, which I guess if you had to think of a combination between this product and like a Yeti container, or even like a Yeti box, maybe cooler, I mean, if you had to marry the two of them together, that's kind of what you'd come up with. It's a little bit more of a thicker, stronger looking Wolfpack box. Similar in size, similar in kind of like storage capacity, not exactly the same shapes, but they have stronger latches on the side. But there are still brackets that you can purchase for them, but you can't use the same brackets as this one. Okay, so if you already have yourself a Wolfpack, original Wolfpack with these brackets, and you upgrade to the Wolfpack Pro, you're not going to be able to use the same brackets. You're going to have to buy the new brackets as well. So that's just a special note, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I am going to take a couple simple items, my recovery strap and my compact air compressor. I'm going to throw these things inside the box. Going to get this mounted on top of the rack, and then we're going to go down a trail in the state forest, as well as some back roads. I'm going to test it at speed. I'm going to test it at some bumps, and hopefully everything will stay secure. So stick around. Let's see what happens. All right, people. Well, I think that, pretty much wraps this video up. It held up pretty well, this Wolfpack Frontrunner box. I'm in the state forest. I took a couple back roads to get here. I'm probably going to use a road that leads to an interstate nearby so that I can get the truck up over like 50 miles an hour. But between the speed on the road and the bumps here in the state forest, I didn't even notice anything that would indicate I have cargo on top of my rack. There was no whistling, no sort of like wind noise. I was nervous about some wind noise, to be honest, because it's a flat facing container on the front of the cab rack, and I was worried that a bunch of wind was going to end up hitting it and causing sort of like a muffled hum or something like that. But there was literally nothing. It did not rattle. It didn't whistle. It didn't hum. I mean, so far so good. I have nothing bad to say about it. I would definitely check out the Frontrunner website. See if you can get yourself a Wolfpack cargo box. Maybe even see what those Wolfpack Pro boxes are all about. They're only a few dollars more. I think they're like $10 more than this one. So, yeah. If you have any questions or comments about the box or about the way that I mounted it, comment down below and let me know. But until next time, people, peace.